Success isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. No one embodied that better than Nipsey Hussle. His story wasn't just about music, it was about ownership, legacy, and staying committed even when nobody's clapping for you yet. Today we'll break down Nipsey's marathon mindset and how artists like ESTG are carrying that same torch forward.
When I first came into being a teenager, and when I started getting doors closed on me, I just was like, well, I'm gonna do like everybody else and I'm gonna pop my trunk. I saw examples of it in different categories and felt automatically when I got to the age of wanting to become self-made or support my own ambitions, you know that's the step.
Like, this dude came from, single house family, a gang-banging environment, didn't graduate high school, and been through the bullshit of the streets of LA, the county jail, the bullshit of just the traps that got set. And, as a self-motivated hustler, turned it into this.
And Nipsey always thought decades ahead, not just about next week. He said it best: I would rather invest my money and make it work for me than just flex for the moment. From opening the Marathon clothing store to investing in tech like Vector 90, he made moves that outlived him.
Marathon clothing.
Hello.
Obviously, it started as a Crenshaw t-shirt.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And my brother, he just such a cold hustler. I gotta give all the credit to my bro. He came home from the pen. It's ironic how our lives went. As soon as I got my deal, my brother went to the pen. He had to do 3 years. So I was in the county. I got out, he was fighting his case. I got my deal. He ended up taking his time going to the pen. So for the first 2 years of my career, he was down. So when he got out, he didn't want nothing. He I'm gonna find my lane. And he set up a table on Crenshaw and Slauson at the bus stop. Because when he went to jail, we had to shop before. My brother had a house he owned, multiple cars. He bought my mama an S500, bought my dad a BMW, bought the whole family cars, bought my granny a Jag. He went to the pen and he lost everything. The house got foreclosed on. The shop that we had originally, he lost it. So he came back out, even as he had money put up. He had bread on, he had credit lines. He came out, he thought he had a situation to get back on his feet. All his credit lines went dry. He had a foreclosure on his credit because of what the situation with the law. But he came back out, he hit the ground running. He set up a table at the bus stop on Crenshaw and Slauson and was selling socks, t-shirts, and Crenshaw shirts. Socks, t-shirts, and he had the Crenshaw shirts, 10 at a time. Because we had a video, Hustle in the House, where everybody wore the Crenshaw shirts. We didn't make that a business at all, he did. That's how he came home and he hit the ground running. And his first 2,000 he made, he got the shop back. He got a different, in the same parking lot, but next door. You know what I mean? And because he still knew the landlord. The landlord knew he paid rent on time. He was a good businessman. He got the shop and moved the table inside the shop. He ain't buy no furniture. He moved it inside the shop and opened the door. And little by little, I'm talking about every dollar he got, he invested back into that situation. And now he got, we built a new store on Crenshaw. It looked like a boutique. It looked like you're in Fairfax somewhere. You won't think you're in the hood. Next door to it, we got a cell phone shop. Next door to that, we got the original store. He do crazy numbers online. They got 10 employees, you know what I mean? We did a collab with Young and Reckless earlier, 2014. We did our first clothing collab with them. That was big. Our pop-up shop was the biggest collab they did, you know what I'm saying, so far. So, my brother just that type of hustler. Anything he do, he gonna max it out. You know what I mean? So he seen the Crenshaw thing working and he just ran with it. It's not limited to music, that point of view. It's not just about making music, it's just about, a mentality, in my opinion. Just, how to take your lumps in life, you know what I mean? Because you're gonna take your L's, you're gonna have your ups and downs. So just a philosophy or a point of view on how to look at the journey. The game gonna test you. You know what I mean? The game, everything gonna test you if it's worthwhile. Words is powerful, the ability to articulate, you can really impact people. Just you remember us from early, big, you know what I'm saying? Just from in LA, before we had too much of anything going. And we was always we ain't wanna wait on nobody. We was we gonna work with what we got for now.
Yeah, man.
We ain't gonna just wait until it's gonna be a platinum album, until we got a major label to spend $1 million on marketing. We gonna release music and repeat the cycle and get bigger off just working with what we got.
Hell yeah.
And I just believe in hustling like that. You always got individuals that, got fronted or, borrowed or whatever. And you got the individuals that got it off the curb.
Ownership wasn't negotiable for Nip. He didn't want to rent success. He wanted to own his name, his work, his future. As Nipsey once said, own your mind, mind your own. And that same spirit shows up in new artists today. ESTG, rising from Louisville's roughest streets, built his empire on understanding value over validation.
When I think, thoughts is powerful in all facets. Because even my career, even my life, things end up turning out exactly how I visualized them. Not in this time frame I expected. You know what I'm saying? You always want shit to happen overnight. But, I just had clear visions. Obviously outside of my girl, I just mean in music and hustling and just how I viewed myself as an adult when I was a young dude coming up. And your thoughts powerful. That shit, come to life if you stick to your script. And,
Amen.
And, you know what I'm saying, honey?
This my area, this where I grew up at. This really like where I spent a lot of my time as a youth. Our neighborhood basically go from like Slauson to Florence. A lot of people got killed out here on these streets, right here on 63rd, Victoria, Hyde Park, Bryanhurst. This building right here, we call these the cages. And this where, niggas will go in the back of these buildings and get put on the hood. Niggas would come back here and fight all day. If you wanted to be from this shit, you had to come fight. And if you didn't know nobody and nobody respected you or you didn't have that motor in you that they wanted to see, you got treated bad back here.
Consistency separated Nipsey from those who had talent but lacked patience. As he said, the most important thing is to stay inspired. ESTG echoes that. In his own words, I'm not doing it to be hot today, I'm doing it to be one of the greats when it's all said and done. ESTG interview with Hot New Hip Hop.
It's not limited to music, that point of view. It's not just about making music, it's just about, a mentality in my opinion, just, how to take your lumps in life, you know what I mean? Because you're gonna take your L's, you're gonna have your ups and downs. So just a philosophy or a point of view on how to look at the journey. You know what I mean? You got where you at, you got where you're trying to be. And then you got all this shit in between that's not gonna matter when you get here. You know what I mean? So I feel like, and it was a way of inspiring myself also. Just like a pep talk I was telling myself while I was in a vulnerable moment.
It's just speaking to like the combo you have with yourself when you outside of the opportunities, but your actions and your mentality are success, but the reality of your situation.
I'm saying right here in between these buildings. I didn't never go to Crenshaw. I was hustling on Crenshaw and Slauson, just trying to, get my bread up so I can invest into my music. You know what I'm saying? I finished my little grind, meet my little quota or whatnot, school let out. It always end up right back here. You said it, it's about just the authenticity and the honesty. I'm not in, a culture of going outside hustling every day no more. I'm not in a culture of, being involved with gang activity anymore. At that moment, for me to make art, I had to reflect on reality, and so it would be untrue. If I was talking about balling or talking about owning businesses, I didn't. But as my life changed and as the reality of what I was actually living changed, I had to change what fueled the art, you know what I mean? And I think that's what keep it accessible to people. You got people that, not to cut you off again,
No.
You got people that been removed from the streets for years and it's still what's the dominant narrative in their music, and we lose touch with it because it don't have the same texture as when it was actually what they was doing.
Nipsey ran his race with purpose. He left behind a map, not a moment. And artists like ESTG and everyone chasing greatness today are proof. It's not about how fast you move. It's about how long you last. The marathon continues.